Today we're going to be installing the TechSpec Gripster tank pads. So here we've got the pad for the top of the tank here, and then these pads go on the side. Now, as you can see there, even though it doesn't say there's a left and a right, one of these is left and a right. And just to give you the correct, just to give you a hint as to which one is left and right, the logo has to be to the bottom, so like that. That's how it's going to go. If you've got the wrong one on, then you put it like that, then obviously it's wrong. Okay, so, and then you can't just flip it around like that. So it's got to be like this. I had previously tried to install these TechSpec Gripsters before, and I ordered the same kit, but somehow or the other the packet came with different ones in it. The ones that came were not nice, like, you know, and long like this. It was a little shorter one. It was a different shape. It was totally wrong. So it looks like they packaged the wrong pad in the bag and labeled it for the RS. But this time the correct one came. So this is how it'll go on, like this. So good tip is to try and test fit it like this first to see exactly how you want it to go, so that when you start applying it you kind of have an idea as to how you want to, you know, where you're going to put the initial sticky bit on. You probably want to start from the front here and work backwards, although you could start from this side and work forwards. But what they say to do is to peel a little bit off of an end, just a little bit of the backing paper, peel a little bit of that back, and then anchor it like that. Position the pad however you think that it needs to be, and then start working. As you pull the rest of the backing paper, start working it onto the tank like that. Now they also claim that it works best when the surface is heated up to about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Right now it's a nice cool day in Houston, and I don't think that I'll be achieving 80 degrees Fahrenheit unless I go and put some heater on this. But I think that the temperature of this thing here is probably about, you know, somewhere in the 70s anyway, so it's close enough. They also ask that you allow 12 hours for fit up, or for the adhesive to set up, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to last that long, because I want to go for a ride. If you look at my tank, you probably can't see it now, and I'm gonna not worry to show you too much, but I've never had a tank pad on this tank. So this area around here is a little bit shinier than the rest of the area, so I kind of know where to put it. And I'm probably gonna put it fairly close down. This edge here is fairly shiny, so that gets a lot of wear, but I'm hoping that by putting this tank pad on, you know, it'll take some of the wear away from this edge. And it certainly will you know, protect this part of the tank. But what I would do is start from this end and then make sure that it's centered on this piece here, center it like that, hold my finger down, orient it properly, and then stick down the rest as I pull the backing paper off. This is shipped in the package, which is a 70% isopropyl wipe. And but the instructions don't mention this. It mentions that you should probably use something like this to kind of clean the surface, and then dry it, and then apply the pad. So I got my pad wetted, and I'm going to start wiping down the sides where I'm going to be installing this thing here. Now that's a lot of liquid on that side, on the surface, so I'm probably gonna have to dry it off as well. But anyway, that's okay. So you wipe it good, and then you turn to find a dry part of that, and you wipe it down and dry it off. So basically you want to remove any oils from the surface. Good idea also to wash your hands. If you've got any kind of oily residue on your hands, you want to wash that. So I'm going to wipe this off, then I'm going to go wash my hands while this dries, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to use the isopropyl alcohol. Since I have it, I'm going to use that to kind of finish off the cleaning process. Here's a fair size tissue, well soaked with the alcohol, so you're well prepared to do this cleaning job here. So again, you wipe down the area where you're going to apply the sticker or the gripster pad. Wipe it down on both sides, and then you can just discard this this pad, this paper towel. So I've cleaned that area, and now I'm going to peel this off. So peel back about that much, and then place it carefully where you think it needs to go. And I think I'm going to put it right about there. And you press in one spot so that it can pivot. Okay, you pull this off and you kind of lay it down as you go. Hopefully you got it lined up right, so you eyeball it from the top. Gap on this side and this side is the same, and you pull it. You can even flatten it down on the paper a bit, I think, just to make sure that you've got it spaced right. And compare up here with the tank ring that I have. This line and this line looks good enough, and then you do that, because once you do that, then you're committed. So that's on there. So what I would do is hold this down for a little while, press down. This is rubber, so you might find some excess right on the edge there. You'll pull that off afterwards, you see, like that. But you press down to keep it down and to apply some initial pressure. And that's it. Hopefully when I view it from sitting on the bike, it doesn't look like it's skewed to one side or the other. But if it does do that, then they say all you need to do is pry up one corner of, if you've cleaned the surface well, you pry up one corner, you should be able to peel it off back and then put it back, you know, reposition it. So now I don't know how good that is after it sets up, because it says if it requires to set up in about 12 hours, then to me, if you peel it off and then stick it back on, it shouldn't have the same adhesive bond as before. Makes no sense, does it? If it's got to set up. But anyway, now let's talk a little bit about the pad. Many times you get tank pads that have got nice designs and pictures and all of that stuff on it, you know, graphics and so on. I don't want that kind of stuff. I just want a plain tank pad. And in my estimation, this is the best tank pad you can get, simply because it's thick, it's grippy, it's got all these little knobs on it here. The snakeskin design has got all of those little grips, just like the bottom of the sole of your shoe. It's very thick, nice, good protection for anything that's gonna you know, rest on it. And as for the sides, I have had this on my Honda before this BMW, and I tell you, when you know, squeeze your legs in on the side, the grip is phenomenal. So this is the best kind. None of those decorative nonsense for me. This is the way to go. It's more expensive, of course, but you get what you pay for. Let's do the sides now. Now, with the sides, you've got to be a little bit more careful than with the top, because what happens is the RS has a curve this way. It has a curve this way as it's going forward and curving inwards this way. So you've got a compound curve. You've got a concave curve here, and you've got a slightly convex curve, I think, going in this direction. So when you pin this here, for example, and you contact that point there, you've got to kind of make sure that you don't stick it down as you roll the front part of this pad inwards. And when you end up, you want to have this line parallel to the top. So to me, that is the trickiest part of this. It probably also makes sense that you should have the front corner here anchored as well before you go ahead. So I don't know, it's up to yourself whether this side is the one you want to have anchored or that end. Now, lining it up like this, even when it's lined up like this line here is slightly flatter than this feature line, so it's not the best in terms of the CNC cutting of this pad. But anyway, so what I would do is kind of memorize where this knuckle point is compared to that there, Do we want to slide it back a bit and have that, but then you won't have the correct parallel between that, and this kind of looks more pointy than this, you see. So you've got to decide which trade-off you want to go with. I think I'm gonna install it like that, here, with it slightly, the apex being here and the apex of this one being here, so it's like that. Keep that there, and then worry about where this front end is gonna be. Now I don't know if you can see this on the shot, but I've got another point here, and then maybe a quarter radius here, so maybe I want to end up right there. So I think this is where I'm gonna try to get it located. So let's give it a shot. I'm gonna peel off this. On the right side, I'm gonna do from the back end. How about that? Do it from the back end. So I've got a bit peeled back, okay? And I think I had said here, somewhere around there, having it like that to end up. So it looks like I want to be there, anchored right there, okay? So I'm going to start peeling now. A little bit at a time. Peel a little bit and work a little bit more forward, because don't forget, once you stick down, that's it. It's locked into place. Okay, I'm here now. And you work a little bit. Remember, work the edges only. Don't work this part here yet. Because if you're interested in feature lines, then you got to follow the feature line that you want as you go along. You notice I'm not working the bottom here, right? Because I want this to be parallel. I'm working this all along, and I'm pulling it down as I go. Oh, this is a little bit tighter, but oh well. Now I start going and filling in. However, I can see a gap here, so it looks like I'm gonna have to peel off and then reposition again. But still, I'm getting the top feature line in place where I want it to be. It's looking like it's skewing apart a little bit, but that's all I can do, right? So I think that lesson learned here, keep going along this line here, get it to where you want, and then if anything, peel off. Don't be afraid to peel off and then stick down this bottom, because you've got to stick down the curvature all the way through. Oh, and another thing is, I suggest putting the bike on the center stand when doing this, because you want a nice firm, you don't want the bike to tip over. You know, on the right side, pushing towards that side, the bike wouldn't tip over because you've got your side stand over there. But believe you me, pushing from the left side this way, you don't want any adventures. Okay, so here we go. We've got this pad stuck on. It's kind of looking a little rubbery there. Maybe it needs a little cleaning. It's got that rubber whitish finish on this side. The other one doesn't. The other one's a little bit neater looking. But anyway, we're gonna go do the other side now. Having gained the experience from putting this right side on, shouldn't be so bad on the left side. So there we have it, folks, the installation of the TechSpec Gripster tank pads, and of course the center one here looks pretty centered to me. If anything, is a little bit too much to the right side, but I think I can live with that. The left side, that gave a little bit of trouble, only because of my OCD. And there's the gap to the feature line here, and at the bottom. And then let's see what the right side looks like. There's the right side. It looks a little bit tighter than the feature line at the top. Oh well. I'm not going to pull that off, because like I said, you can't see the two of them at the same time. So I only see the left side of the bike most times, so that's fine by me. And of course, you saw before the lines of the bike. You can see how the top of the passenger seat lines up with the top of the tank grip there. So if you draw a line there, it's a nice curve, and then the seat curve, it flows down and up along the back top line of the pad. So it's a nice flowing line design. Well, actually, it's just following the feature lines of the tank. So it's the harmony of the lines of the back seat that flows along that feature line at the top of the tank that's really doing the work for aesthetics. So anyway, hope you find this video interesting, and that's it. That's the installation of the TechSpec Gripster tank pads on my bike.